Hello, you're listening to our Looper review. This podcast is going to be full of spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, don't bother, just stop now. But yeah, we all saw it on, a few days ago? Mm-hmm. What's everyone's views on it?
I liked it.
Yeah, I'd watch it again.
I think it's one of those movies that it benefit from a second viewing.
Oh, definitely,
yeah. We saw it a few days ago, and when I saw it, I was not disappointed, but I was like, oh yeah, it was alright, but thinking about it now, I think, yeah, it was actually pretty good. So the more you think on it,
yeah, definitely,
I think it becomes better. And especially, I would go and see it again, but I don't think I'd pay to go see it again.
I'll wait till it comes out on DVD or something.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays a looper who's an assassin who kills people that have been sent from the future back and dispose of the body, because in the future time travel's invented but it's outlawed and stuff like that. But it all goes tits up when Joseph Gordon-Levitt, older, played as Bruce Willis, gets sent back and he doesn't kill him. So what did you think of the story?
I thought it was very interesting. It's a good idea how to get rid of a body, send it back in time, because I know it sounds silly when I say it, but it is a very clever idea in terms of there's no evidence of him in your time, and even if there's evidence of him in time past, he doesn't exist.
It's untraceable.
Yeah, it's untraceable. That being said, I find it weird that you'd even bother to get a looper to kill themselves.
I agree. Yeah, I know that is.
I just thought that recently. Why not just send them to?
My problem with it, there are so many why not? Yeah. You know that, but you kind of have to.
Oh yeah,
do have to.
I can take that with a grain of salt. I'll probably talk about other things.
Yeah, but it's not just that. There are a lot of why not just
Yeah, but the thing is, if you get sent back, then you know you're going to die and you get a payday.
True.
So that's part of it. You get a big bumper payday.
Why do that? Why give them a payday?
Because then there's no incentive to be a looper. Because you could die at any point.
Just kill them. Say that there's a payday or something.
Yeah, but no one's going to be a looper then.
Yeah, but they don't know that they're not going to get a payday. Tell them they're going to get a payday, but just kill them instead. And tell everyone else that they got a payday.
But it'll find out, because there's what happened to my mate?
It's not essential. Point is, it's like they didn't have to do it. There must have been plenty of ways around it, sort of thing. Like, my problem is clearly, you see, the time travel thing's on some sort of egg, right?
Yeah.
And clearly that's not in the same location as, say, the cornfield where Joseph Gordon-Levitt does his. So it obviously teleports as well. Can't they just send them to the bottom of the ocean or to somewhere where they know there's a fire, like Jeff Daniels' character who went back in time? Why couldn't he just be in charge of a big furnace, and in the future they just teleport the bodies into that?
True.
Save on money, save on loopers. That was going through my head. But again, this is one of those things you go, fine, ignore it. No, there has to be loopers for there to be a story, sort of thing. But one of the biggest ones I had a problem with was, doing any time travel movie, you're opening yourself up to paradoxes all over the place, and this was littered with them. But the thing is, they show that you cut yourself in the past, you get cut in the future. So ignore and also when that other guy's future self comes back, they start hacking off the younger guy's limbs.
Yeah, which I
that
loved
was good,
that.
because it was like, shit, what's going to go next? So I like that, but clearly it shows that you cut off a leg. That happens to the older guy, regardless of what loss of a leg would have done during that time in between. So obviously it's it doesn't happen throughout. It just you have to ignore that. The second, at the end, when he shoots himself, the second that happened, I would have gone, I would have just blown my arm off. The arm that Bruce Willis is doing that, just go bang, and then he'd lose the gun. Or your leg. That's my biggest problem with it. It made me think Joseph Gordon-Levitt, because you look at that and your immediate reaction is like, that's clever, sort of thing. Or at least that's what people are meant to think. It's like, he's sacrificing himself. It's like, no, he's an idiot. You did not need to do that. The second he did it, I was like, that's stupid. Just go bang, and he dropped the gun.
Bruce Willis might have had it in their left hand, though.
Well, he can see whatever one. Blow his leg off.
Either way, when the arm gone,
you'd think.
I think you'd go.
He was doing that. He was doing that. I'm sure he was doing that. Well, Joseph Gordon-Levitt knows what hand he is, and therefore Bruce Willis would be. He was doing that. I'm sure he was doing that.
Well, I thought it was going to be that, because right at the end, Joseph Gordon-Levitt realised what's going to happen. I thought Bruce Willis was going to realise Oh, no,
I'm glad that it wasn't that. That's the point. When he started killing the kids, and it was like, oh, it's traumatised and everything. I'm glad that he did do killing the kids, because I was worried that it was going to be like, oh, I can't kill a kid. It was going to become all philosophical. Like, what if you could go back and kill a little kid who you knew was a... I'm glad that he actually did kill the kids, because you probably would. If you were trying to stop something really bad, you would kill.
Well,
if you really knew what that bad thing was and you suffered because of it, you probably would, for the greater good. That's what
you
you
only
see
killed
it
one
as.
kid though.
True.
Innocent kid.
But he went for the second one.
Also, what I liked is the fact that Bruce Willis's character at the beginning, you saw this sort of guy that was he's got this really nice life, he's got this wife, he's got this really nice house, and he seems like the wiser one. He's like, don't do that, kid, don't do this. But at the end, he becomes the twisted one. He's killing kids, and like it's more Joseph Gordon-Levitt sort of becomes the smarter one towards the end. But at the beginning, he was just a druggie. He was a junkie. He was an idiot.
That's just it. I was worried that there was going to be some sort of Bruce Willis redemption,
Yeah,
something like that. Like he stays in the past and raises the kids, so he's nice. Or something. I was
Yeah.
so worried that it was going to be something like that. So I'm glad it wasn't. But
Why were you worried about that?
because that would just be like they're trying to give you a message sort of thing. It's like, don't do that, you know. The message is there, sort of thing, like the killing and everything like that. And it's like, would you kill the kid? I mean, that's the main thing. It's like he's come from the future. He's trying to stop something really terrible from happening. Would you do it? You know, the moral implications, all that. Don't do some sort of redemption where that feels a lot more cliche, sort of thing. That's what I was worried about.
But it was a sort of redemption, because
Sort of, but
they
Joseph Gordon-Levitt did it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Joseph Gordon-Levitt wasn't the one that killed the kids, though. That's what I'm saying. There was enough of a change to it that I was comfortable.
Yeah.
But I still came out of it thinking he was an idiot for killing himself. It was completely unnecessary.
So what did you think of Joseph Gordon-Levitt as...
I thought he was pretty
young
good
Bruce
at
Willis?
imitating Bruce Willis. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The voice, the look. I mean, I know. I've read things where it was both CGI and plastic.
It makes sense
alterations
that you'd
and
have...
CGI?
Well, they clearly altered him, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
read
but
a lot
I
of
thought it was
reviews.
just
That's
for
what I
just
read. But I read some
aesthetically.
other stuff that said that they CGI'd it.
Well, maybe they just did prosthetics and then they just touched him up at the end,
Yeah,
which they
I'm
probably do
thinking
anyway.
that. Most of the people were saying that it was prosthetic, so I'm going to go with that. I
Yeah.
mean, like, you did
Yeah, and
see
all the
it, sort of
press
thing.
shots and
I thought that
everything.
was good. And he did sound Bruce Willis-y.
Because I've never really liked Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but he was brilliant in this, I thought.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I was
he's-
like, yeah,
That's
fine,
what
he's good in
he's-
that. He's good in that.
But
Yeah.
I haven't seen 500 Days
He's
of
good in
Summer.
that, but it's...
He's good in a lot of stuff. I mean, I haven't seen every movie he's been in, but I'm not, you know... He's not like the greatest actor in the world, but he's certainly becoming a decent one, and he's you know...
Reputable.
Well, this was the first
Yeah,
film that was
reputable.
written exactly for him.
Yeah.
Written
Yeah.
for him.
Alright.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's his first film.
Because I think him and the director, they've done
Yeah.
something before.
Brick.
Yeah.
That was
That
brilliant.
was it.
Again, so the paradox is loads of them.
But what time travel film doesn't, sort of thing. It's like, you've
Yeah.
got to allow for that. I find it very hard. I really have to begrudgingly go, fine, I'll ignore it, sort of thing.
What if it wasn't yourself being sent back in time? What if it was like a family member, like a brother or a sister or something?
Well, like Bruce Willis had
And
a
I had
kid
to kill
with the Chinese girl or something, and he was like, "Oh, I'm saving my mum."
No,
I'm your
if
son.
you, as a looper, have a sibling in the present, right? But then you have to go and do a job, and you have to blow your sister's brains out or something, and you realise, oh shit.
She comes back 50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, this
sorry.
is the thing as well. I don't think I'd ever be a looper because you just kill someone for no obvious reason.
Getting paid.
It's the same as just any assassin.
Yeah, but again, so I don't think. But again, with time travel, I think there's more ramifications. You actually have to stop and think about. That's me in 80 years, or however, 30 years. Sorry. I don't think I could kill myself, but then I'd like to say as well, and this is, it's not so much a paradox or anything, and you mentioned it already, one of the ones that tried escaping, you get the arrow on the arm, saying be here in 15 minutes, then he loses a finger, then he loses more fingers, then he loses his nose.
Right.
I would think, if I had come back 30 years, and my guy's there and he's not killed me, I wouldn't get up and walk away. I would ensure that I would do everything in my power to protect my younger self, because if anything happens to him,
Well, you know.
I'm screwed. So I wouldn't just walk up and get away and then try and hop a fence and keep on living. I'll be like, you need to come with me right now.
But your younger self is trying to kill you.
Yeah, but
He wants
he
to
obviously
kill you.
isn't. Like, if you can get up and walk away and he's still there standing there or whatever,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
just
but
I'd
Give
turn
him an
around and be like,
opportunity.
right, come around.
I'd run. Leg it.
Exactly, but you're the younger you knows the ramifications. So he's sitting there going, oh, I'll kill you. or else they're going to kill me. I'll kill. All right, this is a question. Would you kill yourself for that payday?
No.
No, I don't.
30 years, nah.
No.
I'm only.
It's a big payday.
Doesn't
But
matter.
that means that you've only
You've only
got
got
30 years left. I wouldn't.
Well, how much is enough?
I don't
50
think
years?
any. I don't think I could kill myself.
Yeah, I don't
in
think
any
That's
I'd
form.
do
you're
that.
taking off. Well, you could predict about
I'd
30,
rather-
40 years of life, hypothetically, average.
I'd rather team up with my future self.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'd team up.
Because
I'd
he's
make
got
sure he
knowledge of the
protects me
future.
and
You go, well, come on, let's make a fucking fortune.
Let's
but
go take out the
Yeah,
gang.
but they're after you. They're constantly after you.
Yeah, but we're tough guys.
If
We
Bruce
can
Willis
sort
can
them out.
take out
exactly,
all
Bruce
of the
Willis
gang,
slaughters them all.
which is brilliant.
Yeah, I like
Can I
that.
just say as well? I mean, I was a bit like when I saw the Expendables 2 because I was thinking, yeah, Bruce Willis is really looking old now. Completely changed my mind.
Yeah, I know. It's
I was like, you've still got it, Bruce. You've still got it.
See, that's the best thing about Bruce Willis. It's like they let him take care of that sort of thing because it wouldn't have looked right if Joseph Gordon-Levitt was doing it. Yeah, he can shoot and kill people, but doing the whole action man type thing, leave it to Bruce Willis.
I was gonna say, going back to the paradoxes, there was one that I noticed that I was a bit like, and it's sort of because, like you said, it's riddled with them. But this one, I was sort of like, well, it is a bit because you've started a loop from nowhere, and the idea of a loop is it has no beginning or end. And it was when you see young Joseph Gordon-Levitt actually kill him, who will grow up to be Bruce Willis, who goes back, and so you see his life as what it was if he just killed himself, sort of thing. And it was, he turns out he still does drugs, he meets the girl, blah 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 blah. When his older self got sent back, he was with the mask on and he was still tied behind his back. So it's like, why is this one different from the one that just got sent back? And that one I couldn't really,
it's like,
because you've just created a loop. And it's like, well, if his life is going to be exactly like yours, I'm assuming, except for at the end he doesn't put up a fight, or so I was very, the idea of a loop, you just started a loop, and loops are supposed to have already been going, like, and I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt actually says, so what, you've already had this conversation with me as a younger self, sort of thing. And I was like, well, technically he should have done.
Well, no, because the whole thing changes. Bruce Willis's mind and memories change when he
When the
decides
younger
to
self
fight.
does stuff.
No, when he decides to fight and he escapes the younger self, every single memory changes.
Yeah, but my point is, why did that one decide to fight and the one before him didn't?
Was there like something different that happened to Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Like, the fact that his friend...
Again, but it implies, like you said,
Something must
without
have changed,
more
yes.
information, something must have changed, but it could have been like, oh, he went left instead of going right one time, or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
Butterfly effect.
yeah, it's...
we don't know.
You don't know the stuff, and I couldn't get my head around
It's
it.
time travel.
I think, like you said as well, with the whole started cutting yourself off, how would that have actually affected your future? Because assuming...
It's like it only affects what's present,
yeah.
sort of thing, which is like, well, why would it do that? See, that's just it. This is a time travel philosophy that I don't buy into. I don't buy into the whole grandfather paradox or you fade away. It's just, it feels illogical to me. I don't like that.
Yeah, because if you got the scar saying "come here," I'm sure that would alter your whole life because you would know
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
going to
So
happen.
would blowing your leg off.
So if let's say you got a scar now saying "come here" and you know what's going to happen to you at this particular building, you go and blow the building up or something. You'd
Yeah, a lot of
alter the
things would
building.
change. Well, the whole,
you'd do
like,
something else.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt killed himself, so Bruce Willis didn't come back in time, therefore the whole thing never happened,
Yeah.
so Joseph Gordon-Levitt doesn't kill himself and the whole thing happens. It's an infinite loop.
Yeah.
That's the problem with that sort of time travel. You run the risk of
Well, I don't
just, like,
understand.
going, what?
Like going back to that last scene, when Joseph Gordon-Levitt realised that Bruce Willis is doing wrong, why didn't Bruce Willis realise it and stop himself?
Because he had 40 years more memories and stuff that cloud that sort of thinking.
I
imagine. They're not
understand your
identical.
point. I
They're the
do
same
understand your
person,
point.
but they're not the same.
But when
Yes.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt realises that,
Yeah,
Bruce Willis
Bruce
realised
Willis should
as
have
well.
got the memory of, I've already realised this is wrong.
and he should have stopped.
Yeah, but they say that, don't they? They say about how when it happens to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, it changes Bruce Willis's memories. But that only really seemed to happen when the plot required
Yeah.
it. There are so many, like every second, Bruce Willis should be going, "Oh, I'm getting new memories."
Yeah.
I imagine that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
implication. It's like what? So
Or at least
only
bursts
some
of
of
it.
the new memories downloaded.
Well, I don't
Maybe
understand
they're
as well
only the
is-
strong memories or something.
You know the bit where Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in the farm and he says, "Oh, Bruce Willis isn't going to be here. He's going to kill the other two before
Because he
facing
doesn't want
me."
to face me.
Bruce Willis would know that, take him by surprise, and go there straight away.
Yeah. That's
If
true.
you know Bruce Willis knows, he knows what the younger one's thinking, so he's going to go, all right, he's not going to expect me to surprise him.
He doesn't
Turn
know what
up
I'm
straight
thinking,
away.
but I'll know everything he's thinking.
Yeah, but maybe I can't
I know it's
remember
cloudy,
things
I
that
know.
even 5 years ago, what I was thinking. I've got a fucking clue what I was thinking. So little things like that, I can let that go easily.
He'd want to minimise risk as well. Like he had to go and kill those. He knew that one of the three children was the Rainmaker,
And it might have been one of them two.
exactly.
Going
So
after.
why would he go and risk
killing
dying?
his younger self?
Yeah.
Thus killing himself. I would have
True.
saved that for last.
Yeah.
In the chances that the other two kids were the Rainmaker.
True.
And that kid was brilliant as well. Can I just say that kid was a
He
brilliant actor.
freaked
He
me
was,
out.
Yeah, he was a creepy
massively.
little kid. Yeah.
He was good.
Yeah.
Did you see Emily Blunt's interview on Jonathan Ross?
Yeah, the kid kept trying to touch her up.
What?
Yeah, the kid kept trying to
From
pull her-
Looper?
Yeah,
Kid from Looper,
because
when they're on
they-
set and stuff,
yeah.
they're trying to, they're bonding sort of thing, and apparently the kid kept trying to pull down her dress. Get a look at
She's
that.
on the top.
Good man.
Yeah, he knows
Lad.
what he
And
does.
she asked him, "Why do you keep trying to pull down my top?" She said, "I just want to see him."
Opie, were you sent back? Is that you?
Would you do that if you were working with an actress?
Yeah. I just want to see him.
I'd certainly do that.
Yeah.
If I thought I could get away with it.
The best, one of the great bits is when Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt were sitting in the cafe, the diner, and I'm going to say this: Bruce Willis broke the fourth wall basically by saying, "Don't give a shit about the time travel stuff. Ignore it. It's fuzzy." So
Well,
he
they kept
basically
saying
turned
that
it to
sort
the
of thing,
to the
like
audience
Jeff
and
Daniels
said,
as well.
"I don't give a shit about your views. I don't, all these paradoxes. Don't even bother thinking
Chris,
about
I'm
it."
talking to you.
Yeah, there's. I'm surprised Bruce Willis didn't tell us. So, Chris, I don't give a shit about your views.
I'm not the only one.
Just
And I
go
think
with it. Just go with it.
if that is strongly what he wrote that scene for,
I'm sure
that's
he did.
quite
I'm sure.
Well, it is. It's lazy sort of thing. That's what I
think
don't
it was just
like.
like sort of
It's-
comedy, sort of piss take.
It better have been. Because
of
I
the
really don't
sci-fi
like the
genre.
whole writing something then going ignore that. I don't mean to say that. That didn't happen. That's very poor. So if it was anything,
No,
to
all
do
he was
with
saying
that,
is, "Oh, don't bother criticising like the time."
well, that
loop
goes
and
without
stuff.
saying for any time travel movie. But
Well, yeah,
you
this
know,
one did say it.
you're
And this
still
one's sort of
trying
good
to write a story which is sort of dealing with its own created laws of time travel, which it's breaking. That's what I don't like. If you're gonna do a time travel movie, stick to your idea of time travel. It's just very weak. I'm not having a go.
How do you think it compares to other time travel movies? Such as Terminator, there was bits of that, and there was bits of other things.
Didn't notice any Back to the Future.
Well, the whole fading and everything like that, that's very Back to the
true.
Future. That's
The
the fact.
fading.
That was the first thing that was like, that really got me thinking about time travel. When I was a kid, I thought they nailed it. I was like, of course. Just the whole, it appears where it was back in time. I was like, of course it would. You wouldn't move, it's the time sort of thing. But then you grow up and you're like, yeah, but a lot of it's bollocks sort of.
All of it's bollocks.
Exactly. So every time travel, you get these flaws. The thing I liked about this, time travel aside, is, it's set in the future anyway, let alone
And then
80 years in the future. But it wasn't very futuristic.
Yeah, well, that's
I'm
what I
glad
was
that it
gonna-
wasn't all like flying cars and shit like that. It was like, you had hover bikes, you had time
Well, that's-
travel.
yeah.
You still have
even
old
for the
houses
future.
with old furniture around.
That's
It
what I
doesn't
liked
disappear,
about it, yeah. You've
Yeah.
got little changes.
The look of the whole thing felt very realistic.
Yeah,
The,
I like
the
that.
aesthetic of the cities.
Mm.
There was futuristic, but it was also.
Yeah, most of
sort
the
of
You
stuff
could
as
tell
well.
that it
Yeah.
was like the economy's gone to crap, but you've still got sort of new inventions, and
Yeah,
every so often
exactly,
something
yeah.
new
Yeah.
happens.
But that's what I like about it. They weren't trying to ram, this is the future, this is the future in your face all the time. Most of the film took place on the farm.
Yeah.
That could have been set now, sort of
that
thing. Yeah,
gun looked pretty old anyway.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I
Standard
think
shotgun.
that got it, nailed it. But it's other films like I Robot where it's just like
Everything,
20 years in the
that's
future.
just so
and it's
that's
like
a sickening
ridiculous,
sort of future. You know,
But
I
this
really
nailed
don't
it.
like that.
And I haven't seen a film that's nailed like a vision of the future as well as that one did, in my view.
Serenity.
I don't know. I'm still iffy on time travel that easily in 80 years. I'm really iffy on that. I'm kind of iffy on the hover bikes, but that's what 30 years.
I also
mean, it could easily happen. Telekinesis. Now that
Yes.
I really had a problem with that. It's like, suddenly people could only
It's
float
mutated,
coins.
Yeah, but what
Kind of
nuclear
mutation is
fallout
that?
or
I mean,
something.
I'm okay when it's like X-Men and it's like comic book world, but this is sort of meant to be an authentic, sort of real world sort of thing. It's like one day people could just start levitating stuff and nothing happened until suddenly there's this kid that can explode people. I mean,
well, I thought it was.
I just had a problem with that.
Well, how did it come about?
They just said it was a mutation.
They just
There was
said
no
mutation.
specific cause.
No,
or whatever.
exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
They didn't
Oh,
say it was like, if they said it was like a
Yeah, like a
Nuclear
disease
or
or something.
well, no, I'm more okay with that sort of thing if it was some sort of mechanical implant.
Yeah, a
some
new
sort of
Coca-Cola came out, and people drank it.
no, nothing biological. I don't like telekinesis and
Yeah.
things. The idea of it being biological, it's like when people can time travel or teleport biologically. It's like, what? I'm okay with it if it's a bit of technology that does it.
Yeah.
But what if it's technology that created genes that were implanted into people?
Then say that.
Okay.
They just said they just implied it was a mutation.
Yeah,
It was
they
just
did.
one day people could do it.
Yeah, that was interesting, but it just it didn't really explain that. But obviously, it probably didn't have enough time, and he couldn't
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah, obviously. What about Emily Blunt? We haven't mentioned really her.
Yeah.
I think she nailed the accent. That was a very good accent of her.
It was good.
Yeah, it was good.
She wasn't like an unnecessary character. It was, she was meant to be in there. She was good with the little kid. She was good. I liked her.
And she didn't look like, she wouldn't look out of place on a farm. Like she had the accent. She was proper going for it, hacking at that tree stump, and then she had the shotgun, and she looked like.
I think they showed you her hands as well, and they were all like bloody, and she's a worker.
Yeah.
So was she the kid's mum?
Yeah.
Or was she lying?
No, I think she was the kid's mum. It's just she said she gave it up.
Why would she do that?
Because she was.
said
Yeah,
she
I was a
22.
bit
She said she
fuzzy
had the
with-
kid when she was 22.
And she had
didn't
drugs going
Yeah,
through
she
her and
was
stuff.
all like messed up, so she gave it to her sister.
who happened
And obviously
to have
that's
a
who the
farm.
kid's remembering
Yeah.
until I don't know. Did they say how the sister died? Or I imagine she died.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Did they?
No, the kid.
Was it
killed
kid?
her.
Was
Yeah,
it the kid that
killed
did
her.
it? I imagined it was something like that. But yeah, then obviously she looks after him, and that's all the kid can remember.
Yeah, but I thought it was a bit.
That would make sense with the telekinesis. He inherited it from her. Sorry.
What's your view on that in terms of, like you said, he's the first one that's super powered with it. Everyone else can lift a quarter, and he's like, it's a big jump from everyone can lift a quarter, and then even the mum, she was good at lifting the lighter and she could light the light, which is an improvement. But from that, I'm gonna raise everything in the room and you're gonna explode in slow motion. Obviously, that wasn't the TK, but it is a big leap for one generation. And then there's the other idea of the paradox of, so at the end, he kills himself, Bruce Willis no longer exists, blah, 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 blah. You don't know if that's what's actually going to stop the kid from being a rainmaker.
Maybe because she gets all that money and stuff. Maybe it's because of that money and the kid's new upbringing that's why he becomes a rainmaker. I mean, that's the point. It's all like, there's no guarantee. That's the thing, you know, that caused it. He just goes, I saw it all before me. That's what's going to happen. I'll kill myself. It was a very sort of like rash judgment.
Yeah,
come on, think about it.
No, the guarantee was that she calmed him down and he stopped and he was listening to the mum.
Yeah, at that moment.
Yeah.
But then what? You know,
I
who's
agree.
to say in the next 40 years what's going to happen?
Yeah.
You know?
Just out of curiosity, did anyone think at any point in the film, because I thought this as well, because you had the whole idea of Jason Gordon-Levitt, he didn't know his mum, or his mum died when he was young, and blah, 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 blah. And then when he was asleep in her bed, she did the hair thing without him knowing. Did anyone think that there was going to be some sort of, now he has to go back and...
So he is the rainmaker.
He's the kid's dad, and or something like that. I was expecting a thing like that, like you said, with the whole Bruce Willis will raise the kid now. I was expecting a bit of that.
Yeah, like they're going
but
to
to
get
do
together.
with Jason Gordon-Levitt, not Bruce Willis. I was thinking, well, maybe he is.
Yeah, they did seem like that, especially the rushed love scene.
Yeah.
That was like, well,
No.
really?
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
I don't know. Is it just she's that desperate that she hasn't had it for ages? She jumps on the first
I
man.
was,
It's like,
Well, I knew what was going to happen. We all
clearly
knew
knew what was going to happen, but I was
But I
like,
was looking
that
at
just,
Max,
are they just
like-
trying to crowbar that in, just some sort of romantic element?
that's exactly what it is.
If you took that out, really wouldn't change that much.
Well, no, it
Joseph
would.
Gordon-Levitt didn't kill himself because he was in love with her. It was more that he didn't want that bad future to happen. Yeah, there was probably a certain amount of affection there, but that would have been the same because she saved him. You know, from
Well, no,
the
the
drugs
reason
and
why
everything.
he's killed himself is to stop the kid dying
Yeah.
and the mum.
So it's not because he was in love with her. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
well, no,
so
that is
this
part
whole
of
like
it, yeah.
love thing, there was affection there, but they didn't need to be like he was romantically in love with her. He'd only known her for a couple of days.
Well, love at first sight and all that Hollywood
That's what
shit.
I'm saying. I don't.
Well, it is a Hollywood film. I have to say it did get a bit slow towards the farm bit because I was sort of sitting there going,
But it's just like waiting.
yeah,
just
waiting
sort
for
of
the bit. That's
stay
gonna
away from
happen,
my kid, a little bit more. Stay away from my kid. It was
Yeah.
just like treading water
Sexual
till Bruce
tension.
Willis slaughtered a load of
Yeah.
people and came along.
I have to talk about that bit as well because the other bit where Bruce Willis got the P90, I think it is Call of Duty, and he was killing all of
Yeah.
them, and the character
wasn't
just
even
looked
looking.
weird.
Yeah, I know there was something a little bit
His head,
dodgy about that.
like-
I mean, it's like
What I could describe, like in games where it glitches and the character's head sort of moves about.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. Like he was holding the gun and his head was moving, but his body wasn't.
still.
It just
cool.
felt weird, and he was going, ah.
Well, I thought you were talking about
Yeah,
like, the
we'll
bit where he
talk
had
about
two
that, sorry.
P90s. And it
Oh.
didn't even look like he was shooting
Oh.
up, it looked like he was shooting down into the side when he was walking down the corridor. And I was like, well, unless everyone's sitting down on like waiting seats, you're not going to hit anyone.
It's Bruce Willis.
Yeah, they're ricochet off
Yeah,
everything.
he knew what he was doing.
I also, I laughed because I think you were laughing as well. You know the bit where he had a montage of Joseph Gordon-Levitt turning into Bruce Willis, and I thought, well, I want to see the point because I thought they were going to have like more.
Yeah, I thought
prosthetics.
they were going to morph them
make
into each other.
morph, but it just
Like,
went
suddenly
it just went
go
bam.
from-
Bruce Willis has black long hair, and he's just like, oh, it didn't look right. It was just, it was so. Apart from that,
It was like little step, bam!
Bruce Willis with
Bruce
black
Willis
hair.
with hair, little step, Bruce Willis.
yeah, it was weird.
I did like it though. I mean,
Prosthetics were good on Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, they were good.
Very good.
Because you had that sort of every now and then when he frowned or when he raised his
Yeah,
eyebrows, he had
the eyebrows
those
and the
lines
eyes,
that Bruce
yeah.
Willis, classic Bruce Willis.
There were certain shots. I remember looking where this is near the beginning where he's at a club, and there's a bit where there's certain bits where you go, oh, that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and then you go, oh no, that it looks like young Bruce Willis. So there's certain bits where you go, yeah, that's the guy from 500 Summers. Oh yeah, that's the guy from. Oh no, that's Bruce Willis, isn't it? I have to say, when we all came out of the cinema, we all saw it together, and we weren't allowed to talk about it, and because we wanted to save it for the podcast. And Hobie, we got onto the topic of a question was posed: what would happen if the future self came back and he and he had tits and long hair?
Right. Just to clarify further, I said you might come back not recognising yourself, like you might look more than your mum, because I had mentioned that you just see your dad, not like.
Yeah.
And then Chris added the tits thing.
Yeah, but then what? He could add anything. But what if you came back just the same face, but just
ginger.
or black?
Well, yeah, but that's my point. You know, he could get scars from then to now. It would to just assume like, yeah, I know that's me from the future. At least the other guy, he was singing a song about his childhood or something. That was more of a
clever
hint because that could just look like you.
clever.
That couldn't actually. Bruce Willis didn't actually have to be an older Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You know, it's just the fact that he was different, and therefore, oh, it's me.
Yeah, and usually they have the hood on, so you can't tell. But I just like the idea of like getting sent back and it's a woman. So, oh, you've known it all your life. I'm Tracy.
Yeah.
So, what are your final views of it? Because it was billed as the next Matrix, but personally, it wasn't that good.
No,
I don't think it was
not the next
amazing, but it
Matrix.
was very good.
I'd give it 7 to 8 out of 10. High 7.
I'd give it an 8.
I'd give 8. I'd agree with that.
I'll compare it to the Matrix when they release the shit 2 and 3 of it.
So yeah, that was our Looper review. For other reviews, go to our channel. Matchbox channel. Follow us on Twitter, #the Matchbox, or email us at matchbox@live.com.